How many calories should you be eating if you want to lose body fat or gain muscle? Hey everyone, it's Mark here from Elite Strength Melbourne. And in this video, I'm going to be walking you through step by step how you can calculate how many calories you should be eating for your health and fitness goals, and also your macro split. So your macros are how many protein, fats, and carbs you should be eating on a daily basis. If you'd like more content just like this, then head over to our free Facebook group where you can ask questions about nutrition, strength training, health and fitness, and us, the coaches from Elite Strength Melbourne, can get back to you and answer those questions. I'll drop a link in the description below so you can get access to that group. So in today's video, what we'll be going through is a PDF document that I've created. It's going to show you step by step. It's got 7 steps on how you can calculate how many calories you should be eating for your fitness goals, and also how to calculate your macro split. This is a common question and a common problem that we get within the gym here. Whenever we're taking someone on as a nutrition client, it's really important that we establish how many calories they should be eating on a daily basis based on their health and fitness goals. So you can get access to this PDF in our free group. Okay, if you go over to our free group in the description below, you can get this free download, the document that I'll be referring to in this video here. So what I'll be doing is I'll be sharing my screen, and throughout this video, what I recommend you do is that you follow along with the video and then you pause it at certain stages so you can take notes, okay? And you can calculate your own calories and your own macro split. This particular way in which I'll be describing is a bit more of a lengthy process. There are faster ways for you to establish how many calories and macros you should be eating. However, we find that this way is a lot more accurate and it takes away a lot of that guesswork that you might need to go through initially when establishing your calorie and your macro intake. So at Elite Strength Melbourne, we've been doing nutrition coaching here for almost 3 years. So we have an online nutrition component where you can work with a nutritionist for 3 to 6 months at a time. These are some of the results we've had with our members over that time period. So you can check out the before and after photos. And if you go to our free group, you can also check out some more testimonials there as well. All right, so let's begin. So again, I recommend you follow along with this video and you pause it at each step so you can take your own notes and calculate your own calories and macros. So the first thing we'll need is these items. So we'll need your sex, your age, your weight in kilograms and in pounds. You can just transfer it to pounds in Google. Your height in centimeters, your occupation and what that involves. So a desk job 9 to 5, and your activity level as well. So for example, this person is going to be walking 30 minutes per day and goes to the gym 60 to 90 minutes 4 times per week. So if you're a tradie, if you're on your feet a lot during the daytime, or if you're doing nothing at all, then just write down your activity level. So the first thing to establish is your basal metabolic rate. This is known as your BMR. Your BMR is how many calories your body will burn every single day just to keep you alive and functioning. So this does not include your activity at all. This is just how many calories your body will burn just to keep you going with things like breathing, digestion, your heartbeat, just the basics just to keep you alive and functioning, okay? So there's 2 calculations, one's for male and one for female. You can calculate your BMR. So we're going to use the example above with these metrics that we had here for a female example. So we're going to use this calculation here. Okay, so all we do is we get 10 times by this person's weight in kilos being 70, plus 6.25 times the height is 170, minus 5 times her age is 35, minus the number 161, it gives us a total of 1,426 calories. So again, this is known as her BMR, how many calories this person will burn regardless of their activity every single day. Again, what I recommend is, because there's a few calculations within this video, is to pause it along the way, get your own pen and paper out and take notes along the way. So next we get to add in this person's activity factor. So depending on how active the person is, we then can use an activity factor to multiply that with our BMR. This activity factor will vary depending on how active the person is. So we can use this chart to determine the activity factor. So if you are not active at all, if you literally just wake up, go to your job, sit down all day, come home and do absolutely nothing, you're going to choose an activity factor, the lowest point of around 1.2. If you are very, very active, you wake up, you're on your feet all day, you're a tradie or you're a waitress, whatnot, and you're on your feet moving around all day, you're going to probably choose the activity factor of around 2 to 2.2. Okay. Because this person had a desk job, they walk the dog a few times a day, they go to the gym about 4 times a week, they fall into this category here. Okay. So you can choose the activity factor, in this case, between 1.5 to 1.8. To keep it simple, we're going to choose 1.6 as the activity factor. So all we need to do is get this person's BMR, which was 1426, times 1.6, which is the activity factor, gives us a total of 2,282 calories. This number here, 2282, is how many is now this person's maintenance calories. This is how many calories this person burns with their BMR plus their activity factor on top of that. And this number is also how many calories this person needs to ingest on a daily basis just to maintain their current weight. So now if they're looking to reduce their body fat, drop weight, or increase their muscle, we can then add in a deficit from this amount or add in a surplus from this amount. Cool. Next, we need to calculate their lean body mass. Okay, lean body mass represents how much tissue they're carrying within their body, which is from muscle, skin, their organs, and water weight. Okay, so it excludes their fat mass. So to calculate lean body mass, you're going to use these images just here. And this is a really easy and pretty accurate way to determine your body fat levels. So we're going to say this person is around 30% body fat. So they're going to be anywhere in these 2 images just here. Okay, so 30% body fat. Obviously, just look at the images, compare it to yourself in the mirror or from a photo. You can get a pretty accurate measurement of your own body fat. Now, what we need to do from there is we need to now calculate their lean body mass. So what we do is just say it's 30% from this example here. We take away 30 from 100, and that's going to give us 70. So we can now assume that we are 70% lean mass and 30% body fat. Okay. So all we do is we get our weight in pounds, which we calculated from Google, in this case, 154. We times it by 0.7, which is 70%. Okay. And then it gives us a total of 107.8 pounds. So if you estimated your body fat to be 25%, then you'd times it by 0.75. If your body fat is 20%, you times it by 0.8. Okay. So that gives us our lean body mass, 107.8 pounds. All right, cool. So now we can start calculating what our numbers are going to be for our calories and also our macro split. So firstly, we need to determine if this person is going to be going in a calorie deficit to induce fat loss, a calorie surplus to induce muscle gain, or just remain at maintenance to maintain their weight. So if your primary goal in health and fitness is to lose body fat, you're going to choose a calorie deficit. Okay, that is essentially eating fewer calories than what your body actually needs. Over the weeks and over the months, that's going to drop your body fat. Okay, it's going to cause your weight on the scales to reduce, and that will cause you to look more lean, look more toned as well. So as a general rule, if you're looking to go into a calorie deficit, choose a deficit of around 20% below your maintenance. If you want to go into a surplus, you're going to choose a surplus 15% above your maintenance. Okay, you can check it out in this document here. So for the example here, we're going to assume this person wants to lose body fat. Okay, they want to lose around 8 to 10 kilos. So we're going to take off 20% from her maintenance calories. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the maintenance calories, which we calculated, which is 2282 times 0.2. And that's going to give us 456 calories. We take off the number 456 from 2822, and that gives us a total of 1,826 calories. So 1826, that's how many calories this person needs to be eating to start to lose body fat. Okay, this is this person's deficit calories. So we've now established calorie intake. Okay, this is their calorie intake that they need for their goals. Calorie intake is only one part of the equation. We now also want to calculate their macro split, how many protein, fats, and carbs they should be eating from these calories that we've just calculated. Macros are very important. So first of all, calories are important because that's going to determine what's going to happen with our body weight, if it's going to go up or down, depending on what we've calculated. The macros are really important for our body composition. So if we are in a fat loss phase and we're not eating enough protein, we might be losing too much muscle than what we ideally want. So in optimizing our macro split, we're going to be optimizing our body composition and making sure that we're not losing too much muscle on a fat loss phase. And if we're in a muscle gain phase, making sure that we're gaining enough muscle, but also not putting on too much body fat. So the first thing to calculate is our protein intake. Okay, now what we do at Elite Strength is we use what's called a sliding scale to calculate your protein intake. So you're going to use a range of 1.2 to 1.6 grams per pound of lean body mass. The reason why we use lean body mass is because if we use just your body weight to calculate your protein intake, if you're someone who's very heavy, your protein intake might be a bit too high. If it's based on lean body mass, because we've taken out fat from the equation, it's now based off lean body mass. It's a lot more of an accurate measure of your protein intake per day. As a general rule, the leaner you are, the closer you're going to be to 1.6, and the more fat you have on your body, the closer you'll be to 1.2 grams per pound of lean body mass per day. So we use this here, this sliding scale. Okay, so as a general rule, if you're anywhere from 30% body fat and above, choose a protein intake of about 1.2. Anywhere 10% body fat or below, choose a protein intake of 1.6. Okay, so higher or lower. So we're going to say we know this person is 30% body fat. So we're going to use the number of 1.2 grams per pound of lean body mass per day. So all we need to do is get her lean body mass, which is 107.8, times it by 102, and that gives us 129.3 grams of protein per day. Just to make it simple, we're just going to round it up to 130 grams of protein per day. Okay. Now, this is how many grams of protein they need per day. Okay. We just need to calculate how many calories this is as well. So because there are 4 calories per every gram of protein, we get the 130 and we times it by 4, and that gives us 520 calories per day, which is just here. Okay. So sweet. Now we have our protein intake. The next step is to calculate our fat intake. So how much fat we should be eating from food and nutrition every day. Again, as a general rule, if you are leaner, you're going to choose a percentage of fat intake, which is closer to 20%. And the higher body fat percentage you are, you're going to choose a fat intake closer to about 35%. Okay. So I've written it here. As a rule, if you're 10% body fat and below, choose a fat intake of around 20%. If you're 30% body fat and above, choose a fat range of 35%. Okay, so use those images from before to determine this amount. Because this female is 30% body fat, we're going to choose a number which is closer to 35% of her intake from fat per day. So all we need to do is we get her maintenance, if we get her deficit calories that we calculated before, we times that by 0.35, 35%, and that gives us 639 calories from fat. Now, this is our calorie intake from fat. We need to determine the grams as well. So what we need to do is do 639 divided by 9, because there's 9 calories per gram of fat, and that gives us 71 grams of fat per day. Cool. So now we have protein. Now we have fat intake. To calculate carb intake, it's actually quite simple. All we need to do is just add together the calories from protein, the calories from fat, and the difference left over is how many carbs we should be eating. So we get 520 calories from protein, 639 calories from fat, gives us a total of 1,159 calories. The deficit calories that we calculated from before, okay, is 1826. We minus 1159 from that. 1159 is the calories from protein and fat, gives us a leftover amount of 666 calories from carbohydrates. Okay, so essentially 666 plus 520 plus 639 equates to our deficit calories. That 667, okay, that's the amount of calories from carbs. We need to divide that number by 4 because there's 4 calories per every gram of carb, and it gives us a total of 166 grams of carbs per day. Cool. So that's pretty much it. We've calculated our calories. We've calculated our macro split. Gives us a total of 1826 calories per day. Protein is 130 grams, 520 calories. Fat is 71 grams, 639 calories. And carbs is 666 calories. To double check that, okay, just to make sure that that number is accurate, all those macro splits that we've done, is we double check it. We add together our protein calories with our fat calories, with our fat calories, with our carb calories, and that should give us our deficit calories that we calculated before. In this case, it's correct, 1826, okay? So team, this is how you calculate your own calories and macros. If you have any questions about this PDF, then please reach out to us. You can go to our free Facebook group or to our Instagram account. You can drop us a question there. And again, if you'd like this PDF document, you can go to our free Facebook group. I'll drop a link in the description below. You can check this out. You can follow along with this video and you can calculate your own calories and your own macros based off your own health and fitness goals. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.